All right, so have you ever cracked open a book and just knew it was more than just a story? That's Metal Nights for me.
More than just a story, how?
Okay, so picture this. A heavy metal band, right? But they're using their music to battle like actual supernatural forces.
Okay, I've heard of bands having a killer sound, but
No, seriously, it's not like a metaphor. They're wielding their instruments as weapons against like things that go bump in the night.
now that's a premise. It's like fantasy meets, well, the rawness of heavy metal.
Right. And that's what we're diving into today. Forget just the plot points. We've got like excerpts, character quotes, song lyrics, you name it.
We're going deep then.
Totally. We're trying to unpack what makes Metal Nights tick, beyond the surface.
The source of the band's power is a big one for me. From the excerpts, their music's this conduit, but how does that even work?
Right. Channeling a guitar riff into, I don't know, a dragon slaying energy blast.
Exactly. That's what hooked me. The book isn't afraid to dig into the how of it all.
It's wild. Like writer Riff Mason, the frontman, he says, the real power of metal doesn't come from the instruments. It comes from the soul of the musician. Makes you wonder.
Wonder what?
Well, is it saying heavy metal or any art really can tap into something bigger than us?
It's a question people have asked for ages, right?
Okay.
I mean, there's a reason ancient cultures gave so much weight to music, to stories.
Like, think about sympathetic magic, the idea that what you do here can echo out there.
Exactly. Maybe in Metal Nights, heavy metal's that bridge, linking our energy to the supernatural stuff happening around them.
And it's more than just raw power, too. It's about control, focus, turning emotion into something real. There's this scene where Vera, the vocalist, she's pouring her heart out on stage singing about dragons.
Find that.
Boom! A dragon just appears.
Intention made real through music.
Right. But it's not all about summoning mythical beasts. This music power link, it's tied into their relationships, their vulnerabilities,
Yeah.
even love and loss.
Like Metal Nights isn't just some monster brawl. There's real heart to it.
Totally. And that's one of the things that grabbed me. It doesn't shy away from the feels.
The excerpts hint at that. These characters are driven by some deep stuff,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to love and loss, yeah.
Oh, 100%. We get this glimpse, right, in Luna Gray's journal where she's writing about how love endures, how it can handle anything. It's almost poetic. But then, bam, tragedy hits.
Wait, Ryder dying. Even just reading that part, it was rough.
Right. One minute they're this unstoppable force, the next their world's shattered, and it makes you question everything. If love's this powerful thing Luna talks about, how can it be snuffed out so easily?
Yeah, and how does a band, especially one fueled by this shared passion, ever come back from that?
See, that's where it gets really wild,
Look,
because Ryder, he doesn't stay dead.
he gets better.
He comes back, which throws a whole other wrench in things, makes you wonder about their powers, about life and death, even how deeply Luna really felt for him.
It's like Ryder coming back isn't just some plot twist. It makes you think about Luna's whole thing about love.
For sure. Was this because she loved him so much? Some cruel joke? Or is something else going on? And we can't forget, this is a band that uses heavy metal to fight actual demons. Ryder coming back, that's going to have some serious fallout for them and the world.
No kidding. It's that mix, personal stuff blowing up while the world might end that makes Metal Nights so gripping. It's not just stop the bad guy. It's what does it all mean?
And speaking of blurry lines, that's where we're headed next. Because in Metal Knights, it's not just demons and dragons. It's the lines between what's real and what's not, always shifting. It's like they're stepping into some other dimension every other chapter, never knowing what they'll find.
And those blurry lines, they go beyond just the supernatural stuff, too.
Right. It's in their relationships, the choices they make, even how their music is both performance and like this raw power.
The excerpts do this cool thing with this thin veil idea, right? Separating our world from something else.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the band keeps pushing through it. One minute it's a gig in some creepy asylum. Next it's a ghost ship full of Vikings. Then a regular house has a magic door.
It's like the author's saying the supernatural isn't hidden away. It's all around. Just got to know how to see it.
Which is kind of unsettling, right?
Yeah.
That anything could be more than it seems.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people feel that way these days about the world in general.
Totally. Like the band's a mirror to our own anxieties. The world's getting weirder, less predictable.
Exactly. And here's what gets me. This thin veil isn't just about monsters and stuff. It's about good and evil inside us, too.
Oh, for sure. The characters are always wrestling with tough choices, wondering if they're doing the right thing. Like when Ryder comes back.
He's different, right?
Totally. More powerful, but darker too. Like he's
Yeah.
seen too much of the world and himself.
He even thinks about just walking away. Like, I have magic powers, but I want to be normal.
But Luna pushes back hard, tells him he can't just ignore this, and their fights. Man, intense. You can feel the power, the emotions.
Their powers are all tangled up with their feelings. Love, grief, this weight of destiny. It's a lot.
It's like they're always on the edge of either saving the world or destroying it, and each other maybe? But that's what makes it so hard to put down.
It all circles back to power, doesn't it? What it does to you. Not just the band's magic, but any kind of power.
The classic question, does power corrupt or just show who you really are?
Right. But here's the thing about Metal Knights. It's dark, but hopeful, too. Like, we don't have to face this stuff alone.
Oh man, that's huge. The band realizes they need help. Saving the world. That's a team effort.
It's saying something bigger, I think. That even with impossible odds, real strength comes from each other.
100%. And it goes even further than that. It's like other beings, creatures, they're drawn to the band's energy too.
Like they sense allies
Yeah.
against something bigger, even.
Yes. The lines between worlds are fading, and it's up to this metal band and whoever they can trust to, save everything.
Which makes that ending brutal.
Right. Ghost Riff Riders hanging on by a thread, the world might be doomed.
Where do we even go from there? You know that ending, man, it's got me thinking about something Ryder says way back. Something like, playing heavy metal isn't about escaping. It's about facing reality head on. And Metal Knights definitely doesn't shy away from the heavy stuff. Even with all the crazy creatures, it still digs into what it means to be an artist, especially in the music industry, which can be its own beast.
Right. It's almost like those supernatural battles are reflections of the demons they face every day. Cutthroat record execs, endless tours, the pressure to either sell out or get forgotten.
Adds a layer of realness, you know?
Yeah.
Even heroes with magic powers still got to pay rent, chase their dreams. It's grounding.
Totally. And it's cool, right? Because their powers, they aren't just for fighting monsters. It's about them changing, too. Like Ryder coming back. He's immortal now, which is huge.
It's not just surviving, it's figuring out what that means.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do now?
Exactly. That keeps popping up, doesn't it? Real strength isn't just what you can blast with, but the choices you make, what you're willing to give up, turning your own darkness into something good.
And it's not just the band either. Everyone around them, Sam the manager, Mac at the bar, they're all pushed to face their fears, find strength they didn't know they had.
Like anyone can be a badass if they're pushed far enough.
Kind of. It's saying we all have that potential to get through impossible stuff, whether it's supernatural or just life being messy.
Which brings us back to that cliffhanger. Just when you think it's the final battle, boom, curveball, two versions of the band, two realities.
Reality's even more messed up than we thought, right?
It's like those crazy metal album covers came to life. Multiverses, alternate timelines, can they even fix that?
Yeah.
And at what cost?
What guilts me is, even with all that, it's still about the people. We're worried about them, not just if they'll win.
For sure, that's what makes it stick with you. They could be fighting anything, but it's that heart, that bond that makes you root for them.
It's like, even in the darkest, most messed up reality, love, friendship, all that, that's still what matters. It's what lets us hope.
And maybe, like Metal Knight shows, it even lets us make our own anthems, Our own way to rage against the darkness, whatever that is for us.
Love that.
So, there we go. Our deep dive into Metal Knights is done, at least for now. We've covered love, loss, the power of music, facing your demons, the works.
It reminds you that even when the world's gone weird, there's still good in it. Connection, strength, even a little magic if you know where to look.
And hey, maybe this will get you to dust off that old guitar, crank it up, and see what happens. You never know.